पॉलिसी मैच्योर होने पर क्लेम्स की बरवक्त अदायगी बहुत आसान, इसीलिए इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ जुबली लाइफ से।
This is Jubilee Life Insurance Game Days. We're building up to the game between West Indies and South Africa, a game the winner of which could possibly move into the semi-finals. And to talk about that, we're joined in studio by Anil Kumble. Anil bhai, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
When you talk about the insurance in a format like this, from a batting perspective, you look at Quinton de Kock because it's such a top-heavy format. It's so important that he gets going, and he's found form just before the West Indies game as well.
No, he's someone who's, once he finds that form, he continues to score runs consistently, which he has done already. The first game he got a 50 odd, and then second game again 50. So for South Africa, it augurs really well, but he needs to get those runs again against West Indies. It's a crucial game. I know South Africa won all their matches so far in the Super 8 and also even in the league stage, but this is their quarter final, literally, because if they lose this game, England have a great chance, because England just have to beat USA, and West Indies will go through because of the net run rate, higher net run rate that they got against USA. So in that sense, South Africa is sort of under pressure, and they'll have to certainly come up trumps. For that, Quinton de Kock needs runs for South Africa.
So if I'm West Indies, Anil bhai, because what England tried versus QDK was, of course, you tried Moeen Ali, didn't quite come off.
Yeah.
But now you look at the West Indies bowling lineup, Royston Chase, sort of best set up to stop him?
Yeah, possibly. And they also tried Dre Russ, with the new ball. He picked up a couple of wickets against USA. So that's something that maybe you can try, because the length that Dre Russ bowls, I know Quinton de Kock likes that length, but you also have a chance when you're bowling that length, and Dre Russ mixes things up, and he's pretty sharp as well. So yes, Dre Russ and maybe Royston Chase early on, because I mean, if Quinton de Kock gets off to a good start, then it's going to be tough for West Indies to stop him.
In terms of personnel for South Africa, Bartman of course came back in the game, but then had that 121 run over. Bartman versus Shamsi, is that debate open? Who do you go with?
Yeah, I think you need continuity. You can't keep changing after every game unless the pitch demands that kind of a change. If it's a turning track, then yes, of course, you bring back Shamsi. When they dropped Shamsi in the last game, I felt that they could have continued with the Shamsi, because against England generally a wrist spinner is what you prefer. But Bartman bowled well. I mean, except for that one over where if he had bowled length, perhaps he could have got away. He tried to bowl his Yorkers.
Could you understand what he was doing? Because that's
I think he was trying for his Yorkers. From what I gather, he's a good death bowler. He bowls Yorkers consistently in South Africa, and that's one of the reasons why he is in the squad. But on that surface, he should have just bowled length. The cutters you bowled into the pitch, it was harder for the batters. But unfortunately, he tried those Yorkers and didn't get it right at all. He bowled 5 full tosses, and the 21 run over literally gave England the comfort to sort of chase down. But fortunately for South Africa, they pulled it back in those last 3 overs.
Brandon King has been ruled out owing to that groin injury he picked up versus, of course, England. Johnson Charles is their other opener. Now, Kyle Myers is there in the team as a replacement. Like for you?
Shai Hope was fantastic in the last game against USA. I thought his 80-odd not out was brilliant. So he'll continue to play. Yes, Johnson Charles hasn't been in the best of forms. He isn't someone who takes his time. So yes, maybe that's one change. Kyle Myers, we know how destructive he can be, but he hasn't played. He hasn't played the IPL. He was sitting on the bench for Lucknow for a long time. He never got a chance. And now again, coming in as a replacement for Brandon King. I don't know how well he's hitting the ball. So it depends on the team management. If they see that he's doing really well, then they'll get him in. Otherwise, I'm sure they'll go with the tried and tested Johnson Charles.
Finally, Anil bhai, you look at matchups and you look at key battles. West Indian spinners, they've got a few now. Of course, Akil Hussain, Royston, Royston Chase was another one there.
Yeah.
As far as them versus the South African middle order, Klaasen, Miller, Stubbs, is that the way that decides sort of this matchup where this game goes?
Yes, I think the bowling attack is what is vulnerable for West Indies, and that's something that South Africa will look to take on. If they have to win this game, if Quinton de Kock can get them off to a good start, Reza Hendricks needs to come to the party as well. He was slightly off colour in the last game. So if they can get a good opening partnership, the middle order is extremely strong. We saw that. They're flexible as well. Markram is flexible in sending Klaassen ahead, then Miller ahead of himself. So yes, if South Africa get off to a good start, the middle order can certainly damage this West Indian bowling lineup. So that's something that West Indies will have to keep an eye on, because the vulnerability of their bowling attack is what South Africa can take advantage of.
Anil bhai, thank you so much for your time. You, of course, were watching Jubilee Life Insurance Game Day.